Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Math with Mullins. We are going to be looking at our free response semester 2 final review today. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we want to do is graph the following points on the coordinate plane. So I've got 2, 3 for W. X is 3, 0. Y is -3, -2. And then Z is -4, 1. Once we graph those points, we're going to connect all of our dots using straight lines as possible. Yours probably look a little bit better. What do we think it is? Right now, I'm going to take a guess and say rectangle, because it appears I've got some 90-degree angles and 2 pairs of parallel sides. So what we're going to do next is use the slope and distance formulas to calculate and prove my hypothesis. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and find the slope from the pictures that I've found. So Z to W would be up 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 over 6. So ZW is 2 over 6, which is 1/3. And then Z to Y is down 1, 2, 3 over 1, which is -3. So right now these are perpendicular, so that means I've got a 90-degree angle there. And then just to double check, we've got YX is up 1, 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is 1/3 again. So that means YX and ZW are parallel. And then WX is down 1, 2, 3 over 1. So again, that slope is parallel with this one. So I know that these are 90-degree angles. Now I just want to make sure that they have those parallel distances. So I'm going to come down here and make some more room. I'm going to start with WX and do from point W to point X. So I'm going to use my distance formula of 2 minus 3 squared plus 3 minus 0 squared. That's going to reduce to 1 plus 9, or the square root of 10. Okay. For XY, so here's square root 10. XY would be next. XY, I'm going to do x minus x squared and y minus y squared. So -3 minus 3 squared for my x's plus -2 minus 0 squared for my y's. I'm getting square, that'll be 36 and 4, which is square root of 40. So xy is the square root of 40. Then I'm going to double check yz. So yz's distance formula, we'll do -4 minus -3, which ends up being plus positive, and then plus 1 minus -2 squared, which is plus positive. That'll give me 1 plus 9 again, which is square root 10. So far, you're looking more and more like a rectangle, because we've got now 2 sets of parallel lines here because they're the same distance. And then our last one, WZ, my distance for WZ, I'm going to do -4 minus 2 squared for my x's and 1 minus 3 squared for my y's. That'll give me, again, 36 plus 4, which is square root 40. So that means this is also square root 40 as my distance, or whatever decimal you found. So use your calculations to prove or disprove. I'm just going to type this out in text just because that's a little bit easier. So my hypothesis is correct. All segments show perpendicular lines which create 90-degree angles, and then opposite segments are equal, which show that they are making a rectangle. And because I have those 90-degree angles, that would be your perpendicular using that for those sides. Okay? Next up, we're going to talk about some regular polygons. So first, classifying the polygon is an octagon because it's got 8 sides. The sum of the interior angles, remember we can find that by doing 180 times the number of sides minus 2. So 8 minus 2, so 180 times 6 would give us 1,080 degrees. The measure of one interior angle, that's when we take 180 and divide it by 8. Separate, we get 135 degrees. The measure of one exterior angle is 360 divided by 8, which also helps you find central angles, or 45 degrees. And if the side length is 8 inches, find the area. So if we know that each side length is 8 inches, what we can do is do our 1/2 apothem times number of sides times the side length. So I'm going to draw my triangle here. I know this is 90 degrees. Here is a 4. And then from here, I know that if I do 360 divided by 8, I just got 45. So dividing that by 2 is 22.5. So I need to find my apothem because that's the only thing missing from my 1/2 apothem times number of sides side length. So that would be tangent because it's opposite to adjacent. So I'll be using tangent of 22.5 is equal to 4 over a, which means a times the tangent of 22.5 is equal to 4. So I'm just dividing 4 and the tangent of 22.5. 22.5's tangent is, calculator's going a little slow here, 22.5 tangent, I'm getting 0.4142. So I'm doing 4 divided by 0.4142, and that's about 9.66 rounded. So 1/2 times 9.66 apothem. My number of sides is 8. My side length is also 8. Multiplying all of these together, 0.5 times 9.66 times 64 is about 309.12 inches squared. Okay. Going on the back for number 3, a scoop of ice cream with a radius of 3 inches is placed on an ice cream cone. So scoop is a sphere, okay, and we have radius of 3 inches. That one, we've got the next one, the cone, has a radius of 2.75 inches and a height of 5 inches. Assuming you don't need any of the ice cream before it melts, is there enough room inside the cone to hold all the melted ice cream? Justify your answer. So we're going to find the volume of both. So volume of a sphere can be done by taking 4 times pi times radius cubed and then dividing by 3. So 4 times pi times radius cubed is 27, and then dividing by 3, I'm getting about 113.04 cubic inches. And then for my cone, I've got volume is 1/3 of pi times radius squared, 2.75 squared, times my height, which is 5. So that's pi, 3.14, times 2.75 squared, so another times 2.75, then times 5, but dividing that by 3, I'm getting about 39.58 rounded. So because my sphere is greater than my cone's volume, we would have to say no, since the sphere's volume at 113.04 is greater than the cone's volume at 39.58 cubic inches. Okay. New steps are being made to attach an overpass. They will make an angle of 32 degrees with the ground. If the vertical distance between the ground and overpass is 16 feet, how long will the steps be? So best thing to do is draw a picture. So it says new steps are being made. Here are my steps. And then 32 degrees is that angle. So I'm going to assume the vertical distance between the ground and the overpass is 16 feet. So how long do the steps need to be? So I need to find this. So I'm looking at an opposite over hypotenuse. So that'd be sine of 32 degrees is equal to 16 over x, which just means I can solve for x if I take 16 and divide it by sine of 32. And I'm going to get roughly the amount of 30.19 feet. Okay. The next one just goes off that. If the angle made with the ground is changed to 35 degrees, will the length of the steps increase or decrease? So still the same setup here, except 35 is my new one. So sine of 35 is equal to 16 opposite over hypotenuse x, or x can be found by taking 16 and dividing it by the sine of 35. So I'm getting about 27.90. So this is a decrease since you increased your angle. It became steeper. So less steps needed. Okay, that'll be the conclusion of day 1 for your final review. Hopefully this video helped you, and we'll tune back in next time when we talk about our day 2 and then eventually day 3. Have a great day.